Before we get into today's show, let me tell you about the latest deal from Mike Lindell, MyPillow. Once again, the big box stores have canceled their orders simply because they don't agree with Mike Lindell's politics. They don't like it because he supports President Trump. Well, he's going to pass that savings on to you. No more middleman. And boy, does he have some great deals on the Giza Dream Sheets and the Percal bed sheets. Listen to this. Giza Dream Queen Size, normally $139.98. Your wholesale price, $69.99 when you use promo code Joey. King size, only $79.99. The Percal Queen Size, normally $89.98. Your wholesale price, $29.98 when you use promo code Joey. Just call 1-800-893-4059 or go to MyPillow.com. Always use promo code Joey. Free shipping options available. This allotment's not going to last very long. When they're gone, they're gone. MyPillow.com. Promo code Joey. Thanks for joining me in the PhD Weight Loss and Nutrition Studios. To lose weight for the last time, visit myphdweightloss.com. Dr. Richard Gibbons is a native of Scotland, and he's been the senior pastor at First Presbyterian Church here in downtown Greenville since 2007. I'm happy to always spend a little time with Dr. Gibbons each year leading up to Easter Sunday. Dr. Gibbons, welcome. Thanks for joining me.
Joey, thank you. It's always a delight to be with you a few days before Easter and to catch up.
Same here. You know, this is a special time of the year, and you and I have had the honor and the pleasure of spending some time with each other prior to Easter. Talk with us, and before we get into some of the details of what you guys have going on, talk with us about the special time of Easter and what it means to Christians around the world.
Exactly. Joey, I think most of your listeners will know that Easter Sunday is probably one of the most, well, I don't think it's probable, is one of the most important Sundays in the year. And of course, not only here in the United States, where the recent figures I saw, church attendance will go up from around 60 million to 90 million people this coming Sunday. And I think it's important, not just here in the United States, but just as you say, around the world, because I suspect folks are looking for more than Instagram and TikTok. They're looking for credibility and authenticity. They're looking for the deep answers in their lives, not just the US, not just Europe, but around the world. And folks want more than simply digital entertainment. So they're looking for life-changing experience. And of course, Christians see that and experience it in the resurrection of Christ.
Yeah. Now, Dr. Gibbons, there are some who may be a little skeptical about the Easter message. What is your message to them?
Yeah. Well, skepticism in 2025 is not new when it comes to Easter, because, of course, on Easter Sunday, one of the main characters towards the end of John's Gospel is called Doubting Thomas. And, of course, he simply refused to believe that Jesus had, in fact, risen from the dead. And it was a week later that he met the risen Christ and his life was utterly transformed. And so when folks say, I'm just not sure, I'm a little skeptical, I think that's a healthy process because people want to know what is involved in genuine faith. How do I walk with Christ? How does God grant me intimacy and change me heart and mind and soul? So that process of asking questions is very healthy, but it will always come down to the same answer. You either trust him, seek his forgiveness and his transforming love, or you continue in your skepticism and doubt. So there's a choice there.
Yes. Dr. Richard Gibbons is with me today. He's a senior pastor at First Presbyterian Church in downtown Greenville. So let's talk about First Pres and what you guys have going on, because I know you always have a busy schedule this time of the year.
We do. Joey, we're in the blessed situation where our church is having a minor explosion in terms of attendance. So much so that at Christmas, we put on 5 services for the first time, and we're going to have to do that again this Sunday. Wow. We have so many young families, so many teens, so many kids. It's wonderful to see. And just as the city is exploding, we are as well. And it will be a wonderful celebration on Sunday.
Talk with us specifically about the times and if someone is interested, parking, childcare, those types of things.
All of that, yeah. Our services are at 8, 9:15, 9:30, 10:45 and 11. Childcare is available across all the ranges. And of course, we have multi-storey parking right beside us, 470-something parking spaces. So that shouldn't be a problem for us. and I tease my seniors a little and say to them, we're putting in a zip line from the top of the Richardson Street parking lot right into the sanctuary, but only exclusively for my seniors. And of course, they get pretty excited about that.
Of course they do. What a special, special time of the year. Personally, what is your favorite thing about Easter?
Oh, my favorite thing has to be those 5 or 6 words that everyone remembers at Easter. He is not here, he has risen. And that's what brings hope and transformation and new life. Now, I love families getting together. I love all of the festivities, but at the very heart of Easter is the resurrection.
Yeah. Some people, like Christmas, say, well, Easter has become so commercialized. There's a
Yes,
lot of focus on the Easter bunny and Easter egg hunts, and that's
of
all part
course.
of our Easter tradition. But of course, that's
Yes.
not the main reason for Easter.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And I think that's the other reason folks will be at worship on Sunday because they want more than the commercialism.
Yeah. Dr. Richard Gibbons is with us today. Some people say, well, I don't go to church and other times of the year, so why
Mhm.
should I go on Easter?
Well, coming Easter, and I think, like the first disciples, you may well be surprised to discover the reality of the resurrection and the love and grace and transforming power of God for yourself, because it's much more than religious observance. It's a relationship with the risen Christ, and that's the heart of it.
Yeah. Let's take just a minute in our final couple of minutes together here. Dr. Richard Gibbons with me. Of course, yes, Easter is a special time. It's a busy time
Mhm.
for First Pres, but you guys have a lot going on. You finished your renovation, a couple of years ago now?
We did,
You
absolutely.
have a
Yep.
lot of things going on. Talk with us about what First Pres has to offer outside of Easter.
Yes. In the course of a week, we have, oh my goodness, I don't know, 40 something, 45 Bible studies. We have a new gymnasium, so pickleball, which of course is taking over the entire world as far as I can tell. Lots of pickleball. We have 44 basketball teams. We have an art gallery for the art community. We have children, youth, senior groups meeting all week. We have care for divorcees, we have care for grief. It goes right across the board. And if folks are looking for genuine friendship, an opportunity to grow in their faith, they'd be very welcome to come and join us anytime.
Yeah. All right, so Dr. Gibbons, one final question for you. Are you playing pickleball?
The spirit is willing, the flesh is weak.
I haven't tried it yet either. I did go as far as to buy the paddles, but
Oh,
I
well
have
done.
so that's the first step. But I've had them for about 2 years now.
See, my Scottish blood would not allow me to part with money and then not use them.
Dr. Gibbons, is always a pleasure. Thank you again for your time. God bless.
Joey, thank you. And I trust all of your listeners have a very blessed and rich Easter.
You've heard me talking for over 5 years now about how PhD weight loss and nutrition and Dr. Ashley Lucas, the founder, helped me lose weight and helped me keep it off. They literally changed my life. I always enjoy spending some time with Dr. Lucas. Welcome. How are you?
I'm great. Thanks for having me, Joey.
Always a pleasure. Let's just talk about, of course, we're in the spring. We're starting to see things bloom. The trees are coming out, flowers blooming. It's that time of the year. We're talking about spring. We're thinking about summer. And of course, we're thinking about being out on the lake and the beach and getting into those swimsuits. What kind of advice can you give us?
Spring is my favorite season. I love the flowers blooming. And I do think it gives us I don't know, a feeling of renewal. And I think a lot of people believe that dropping weight has to be difficult. It has to take a long time. We have to take medications and do wild things to experience big changes, but that's not true. I like the saying, small hinges swing big doors. You can make small, simple changes and you will witness huge results. Most of our men drop about 3.5, sometimes 4 pounds a week on average. Most of our women, 2.5, sometimes 3 pounds a week. So it can happen quickly. I mean, you can be in a total different 2 sizes down, 3 sizes down by the time summer hits. So if you are thinking, oh my gosh, this is overwhelming, don't let that stop you. Action alleviates anxiety. Just take the first step and you will be surprised how painless it really is.
Well, and I found that to be true, again, almost 5 years ago now. And I lost just over 30 pounds in 3 months. I mean, I was amazed at how quickly I did
Yeah.
that. I wasn't hungry. I felt good. And it's just really a great program because it's based on the science of nutrition.
That's right. I was chatting with the client, Carlo, and he dropped about 39 pounds in 10 weeks. Unbelievable. About 3.9 pounds per week was his average. And before then, he had tried to be vegan. He tried to run a lot. He loved to run. I actually had to pull down his mileage. So we think, again, we have to do these crazy things. We've been told to eat less and move more and exercise and take all these drugs. But by shifting the way that you eat, the timing of when you eat, getting your body the right foods that work for your unique metabolism, you can drop weight so quickly without hunger, without cravings. It feels like a miracle, but it's totally possible.
Yeah, and I think back and so many things that you taught me, and Dr. Ashley Lucas with me today. It's just sort of common sense, but the thing that I liked about PhD was the accountability. I had a great coach. My coach was Tara starting out, and just knowing that I had someone there to call, to talk with, to visit with each week, and knowing that they were going to hold me accountable. That's a big part of the program, or it was for me.
Yeah, I think that's right, Joey, for the majority of people. I mean, all we do is weight loss and we are experts in it. And our coaches are amazing. They're highly trained in nutrition, and they are also highly trained in behavior change. I think 80% of any change comes from the mind. And I look at weight loss as a process of letting go, right? It's letting go of the excess fat weight that no longer serves you, but also all of those emotions that are tied to it. So if you don't work on the behavior, the mindset, the way you think about food, even if you do drop weight, it's just a matter of time until it comes back. I think for a lot of people, weight loss is an addiction recovery process. So we really have to work on what's going inside, not just with your metabolism, but also with your mindset and having that weekly one-on-one coaching to hold you accountable and to also tweak your meal plan because as you slim down, your dietary needs change, Joey. So as you were going through the program, you probably noticed we tweaked your meal plan so you would see continued success, right?
Right.
Yeah, it's not a static thing. It's very dynamic. And our coaches are just great at helping you to continue to see success and change the mind and behaviors behind the reason why we eat the way we do.
Yeah. And in the past, when I had tried to do this on my own, I would get to a point, maybe I would lose 10, 15 pounds, but then I would hit a plateau and I couldn't seem to get past that. And that's where your coach and your program helped me go beyond places that I've been able to get to on my own in the past.
Yeah, coaches are able to tell you the truth as to what you need to hear. Whereas when we're doing it alone, emotion can get the best of you, right? You can say, oh my gosh, I look and feel good enough. Or, oh my, I'm plateaued and I'm working so hard. I might as well just eat that brownie when that is not the truth. And you need sometimes the hard truth from someone outside who can look at what's happening and help you continue to move the needle.
Yeah. Well, and the old saying, the truth hurts sometimes.
I know it does.
But again, that's the accountability. That's what I love so much about the program. Now, a minute ago, you mentioned the medical field and pharmaceuticals, and since I started the program, I started pre-COVID, and
Yes.
we saw a lot of things change during COVID, and we'll talk about that in a minute. But we've also seen the weight loss industry, if you will, change some in the past year, 2 years, because it's so easy now for people to go to their doctor and get a prescription for one of the shots. But that's not, it may be a shortcut, but it's not for long-term gain, is it?
The problem that I see is it doesn't tackle the root cause issue. There are significant long-term side effects, and we're finding more and more of them, like sudden onset blindness. There is a 900% increased risk of pancreatitis from which we can die from. 450% increased risk of bowel obstruction that needs surgical intervention. The majority of people who get off the drugs, and most of them do within 2 years because of the cost and because they feel nauseous and sick and tired, 70% of those folks regain the majority of their weight within 1 year of dropping it. And 40% of the weight loss comes from muscle. Joey, this is a huge issue because muscle mass is our metabolic currency. It is the driver of health. And as we age, it's actually really hard to maintain our muscle mass. So the fact that people are dropping weight, but the majority being muscle, they end up fatter than they were before. Metabolically, they are worse off in the end. So it does seem like a kind of magic, easy fix, but it's the shortcut is just not the answer. You really want to be able to drop weight and keep it off. At least that's my goal for every single client that comes into PhD.
Joining me today, Dr. Ashley Lucas, founder of PhD Weight Loss. We mentioned a minute ago COVID, and I started the program prior to COVID. And during that period of time when there was so much uncertainty, people were in their homes, businesses closed, you discovered that you didn't necessarily have to come in and have that face-to-face. You started your virtual visits, and that has really helped a lot of people who maybe live outside of the area of one of your offices, Greenville, Asheville, Charlotte, or whatever, or they just can't make that drive because you can do the program virtually as well.
That's right. We've had so many, it started off with friend and family referrals out of town. So we always had a nationwide program, even from the beginning when I started this company in 2015. And then it just continued to blossom. And then that's right, during COVID, we pivoted very quickly and we were helping everyone from the comfort of their own home. And then once everything opened back up, our local clients came back in. Some of them stayed at home. And since then, we now have clients in every state in the nation. We have served over 10,500 people, collectively drop over 466,000 pounds nationwide. And our at-home, over-the-phone clients have just as much success or even more so than our local in-office clientele. So it has been so remarkable. We have a team of 25 nutritionists supporting just our nationwide clientele. So yeah, it can be done from anywhere, any place, and it's been so much fun.
But the key is you have to get started. Why not do that today? Go to myphdweightloss.com, myphdweightloss.com, and get started losing that weight, get healthy again, and you'll be ready for the summer. Dr. Lucas, appreciate your time today. It's always a pleasure to have you.
Oh, yeah, my pleasure. Thanks so much, Joey.
Your comments are welcome on the Firmin Ford text line, 864-477-JOEY. That's 864-477-5639. Email's always welcome, joey@joeyhudson.com. Speaking of the Firmin Ford text line, it's never been more important to support locally run businesses owned by people who actually live here in the upstate. Let me take a minute to talk with you about our friends at Firmin Ford. If you're looking for a new vehicle, maybe a great pre-owned vehicle, one you can trust, or maybe you're looking to order that special vehicle. Either way, if you want a new one, a brand new one, or a pre-owned that you can trust, the folks at Firmin Ford, they're there to help you. Their name is on the sign because their name is on the line, because every single transaction is important to them. Jim Firmin, Matthew Firmin. They do business the right way. When you stop by, when you give them a call, or maybe when you just send them a quick email, you're always going to have access to a member of the Firmin Ford family. And by the way, they also offer great service, and you're not going to have to wait weeks and weeks to get it done. And you do not have had to purchase your vehicle at Firmin Ford. Doesn't even have to be a Ford. They service all makes and models. Visit my friends at Firmin Ford online at firminford.com, firminford.com. The South Carolina House has been out of town this week, I guess you could say. The state Senate been working to wrap things up on this year's session on May the 8th. Joining us on our guest line, Matt Wills, Vice President of Government Affairs for the Greenville Chamber. Welcome, Matt. How are you?
Thanks, Joey. Doing well. Looking forward to a day off tomorrow and then getting back into it next week.
Yeah. So with the House not being in session, has this been sort of a light week for you?
Light week would have been nice. You get into these times where both legislative bodies kind of go on, breaks to either debate the budget or kind of consider the budget in committee process, or they go on furlough when the other chamber is doing that, so as to not kind of obfuscate kind of positions on other things during that time. And now is one of those times. Unfortunately, what we're seeing is it's work. So I had wished it had been a slower week, but it's been a business as normal week on the Senate side.
Okay, yeah. Well, these last few weeks is always sort of a frenzy down there, I know. Now let's talk about, and I feel like we keep beating a dead horse on tort reform, but there's still a lot of moving parts there. I had the opportunity to talk with a few legislators earlier this week, primarily House members, but bring us up to date where we stand there, because there has been some things happening in the background there.
Massive moves. I think kind of a little bit of a backgrounder for those that are not quite following it the way we do. The House passed an insurance bill aimed at giving some relief to bars and restaurants that have these massive insurance premiums that they're having trouble paying. Well, on the Senate side, took a different approach. They went down the lawsuit reform route, which is a position that was massively supportive of our business community here in the upstate and our 2025 legislative agenda. But I think the bigger point to that just becomes, do we need to do just the insurance side, or do we need to look at the lawsuit side to give more relief overall to the insurance side, to be able to say, look, changing the lawsuit environment from an economic side reduces premiums, and it makes sense. That's what we keep hearing from the insurance industry through Director Wise at the Department of Insurance, and that's what the Senate did. So what the Senate did this week is they took the House bill, the insurance bill, and inserted the lawsuit reform language. A lot of this is procedural stuff to kind of keep the lawsuit reform bill more on top of just the liquor liability side, the insurance side. But what we're looking at right now is the ball's now back in the House's, in the South Carolina House of Representatives court, to be able to say, yes, we're going to take up the Senate bill, or we're going to take up the House bill that looks like the Senate bill and pass it and finally get some relief for businesses across the state of South Carolina.
Yeah. And as I said, a lot of moving parts. So let's kind of break that down, because I've had a couple of people this week in talking saying, well, there's been so much talk about tort reform. I don't really go to bars. I don't even drink. So why does this affect me? But it's more than just liquor liability, is it not?
It's so much more than just liquor liability. Those liquor liability premiums are written by insurance companies that have other books of service, whether it be property casualty, whether it be just property insurance, whether they're car insurance on the car insurance side. Premiums that increase in places across the board and on the liquor liability side, especially in South Carolina because of our tort environment, those increase exponentially across the realm, if you will, of insurance, because they're taking on more and more risk based on where they are. And the way our tort environment is, it allows plaintiffs to go after each step along the way, if you will. And what we've done, or what we've attempted to do in working with senators and quite honestly working with our House partners too, they've done a lot of good work. We just need to see something a little bit more comprehensive than what we have seen done on the House side. I think we feel like the Senate bill does that. Is it perfect? Again, it's not perfect. There are some things in there that are tough to swallow for certain industries. But I think those things can be hammered out as we go forward. Yeah.
On our guest line today, Matt Wills, Vice President of Government Affairs with the Greenville Chamber. For additional information on the Chamber, go to greenvillechamber.org, greenvillechamber.org. All right, so look, I think it's probably safe to say there's going to be a lot of activity, as always, in these last couple of weeks on tort reform. Let's quickly talk about the tax bill. We kind of got our hopes up a few weeks ago that maybe we're going to see a decrease in state income tax. Then we kind of learned, well, maybe it's not exactly what we thought it was going to be. Give us an update.
So Tuesday, full Ways and Means Committee on the House side has scheduled a committee meeting to hear more input on the tax bill. They're not going to be taking any votes. They're not going to be moving it forward. They're simply going to be hearing some more input on exactly what they can do to make it better. And I think that's obviously a step in the right direction. As we found out through the fiscal impact statement that was published after the bill was published, it didn't do exactly what we thought it did. And I think it surprised some House members as well. And I think they've taken a step back. And to the entire legislature's credit, they've all taken a step back and said, hey, let's make sure we got this right before we start moving this. And, I applaud them on that front. I think it's a very good move, and I think we're going to see some relief. It just might not come as quick as we at first anticipated.
So is it safe to say, Matt, that probably nothing is going to happen on that? Maybe during the off season here, committee meetings, they'll do a little work there and fine tune it and come back next year?
I think it's far more likely that that's the case than we see a Hail Mary come up at the last second and say, all right, we've figured it out, we're going to pass it. I think it's far more likely that we see something perfected in the off season. Both chambers like it. We pass what we know as 4216, the tax reform bill, but it's vastly different than what we see right now.
Yeah. Matt Wills with the Greenville Chamber, thanks again for keeping us up to date here. We'll check back in with you next week. And, hey, look, it's going to be a busy couple of weeks, is it not?
It absolutely is. The Senate's got the budget next week, and then we're just business as normal on the House side until they pass that. And then it's a full sprint to May 8th.
Yep. All right, Matt. Have a great Easter weekend.
You do the same. Thank you.
That's it for today's edition of Just the Truth. Thanks for joining me in the PhD Weight Loss Studios. To lose weight for the last time, visit myphdweightloss.com. If you haven't joined my mailing list yet, visit my website, joeyhudson.com. Click on the Connect with Joey button so that you can receive our emails and the most up-to-date news. Also, join me on my YouTube channel. Be sure and like, comment, and subscribe. Just search for Joey Hudson. As always, thanks for spending a few minutes of your day with me. Do me a favor and forward this episode to a few friends. Just click on the share button and send to your contacts. We need to build an army of conservatives to win our country back, and we can do that by continuing to share the truth with our friends and family. Keep those comments coming via the Firmin Ford text line 864-477-JOEY. Email to joey@joeyhudson.com, and I love your messages on the MyPillow message line. Again, that's 864-477-JOEY, 864-477-5639. Be sure and take advantage of the MyPillow special, just $14.88 on the standard MyPillows when you use promo code Joey. Order online at mypillow.com or call 800-893-4053. We're back again tomorrow and hope you'll plan to join us. Until then, remember, God's got this. He's still in control.